in the lobby, waiting for everyone else to join and making sure everything's all okay. In the meantime, could you please let me know how the audio is? So today I would like to let you know from now that we have Merv Martin in place of Jai Fletcher. Not yet as a full-time race driver, he's still a reserve, but he could well be taking his seat, as Jai Fletcher was on the PlayStation 5 and that was causing us issues. And we have DXS Sinyo, and normally we have Godly Noob. These two drivers were reserve drivers and are now full-time drivers in place of the two Haas drivers that we had earlier on in the season. And as for that, today unfortunately we're only going to have 16 drivers on the grid. We had no space for three other reserves couldn't make it, so it's only 16 drivers today. And normally you'd wonder 16 drivers, so short qualifying would make more sense, but no, the drivers have preferred full qualifying, and so we're going with full qualifying. And changes from the last three races, the drivers requested for ghosting to be turned on, so on it is. Apart from that, I hope you all have had a nice day. Excited for some racing. I think everyone's joined. It looks like everyone has joined. So I'm gonna send off the ready up signal and we'll be underway. Singapore, so what type of race could we be expecting today? Well, obviously depends on the weather, but assuming a clear race, chaos into turn 1 I'm assuming. But apart from that, apart from turn 1, you know, Singapore, it's a tight technical circuit, you don't have much room for overtaking, as long as you can keep your wits together, not crash, and respect the track limits. Obviously though, I mean, if you're not respecting the track limits in Singapore, you're going to probably find yourself without front wing and needing to make an extra pit stop, or even worse, end up crashing out. So you have to be careful, but if you be too careful you'll find yourself losing a lot of time, and it's a long track, so you don't really afford losing time. Then again, he could make it up in other corners. I forgot to set. Oh, that's my bad. We'll be racing in the day. That's my bad. I forgot to set official times. Looks like we'll be having like what, a one-off race in Singapore in the day instead of in the night. Now normally, you know, people come out by this time and they've already seen like half the grid out. I think drivers are slowly starting to realize that you don't need to come out from the pits immediately. You know, you can wait it out, you know, especially in Q1 you've got 17, 18 minutes to set your laps in, you know, that's a lot of time. You know, you don't need to be all clammed together. You can just let some drivers go out, wait a few minutes and then go out yourself. You see Martins, 23, first guy out. And so yeah, today only, as I was saying earlier, only 16 drivers on the grid. And we've got Merv Martin in place of Jai Fletcher, who unfortunately we've had to not allow him to race due to him being on the PlayStation 5, and that's been causing issues. But he's still a reserve and hasn't taken a seat yet. And there's also the Exasinho as a full-time driver now for the Haas. Also Godly Noob's become a full-time driver, but he couldn't make it today, and they're in place of the two ex-Haas drivers, Osher and Amir. CB12 King 14 back today after being not able to attend the previous two races, so nice to see him back on the grid. Faxland last race got pole position, fastest lap, driver of the day and the race win. This man was on fire last week, he'll be looking to carry on the same performance through this week. It'll be interesting to see if he'll be able to. You know, the likes of Sonev and Het, Andre, Gexi all will be trying to take up that first spot. As Martin started the first lap of Singapore in Q1. And from the, you know, we had a bit of a chit chat, me and the rest of the drivers. As he almost spun out, it was a nice save, but that's going to cost him a lot of time. Me and the drivers were having a bit of a chat, seeing around, you know, what the drivers were faring in their laps, and I must say there were quite some varied times, so we might see quite a bit of a dispersed grid here today. Luckily though, Singapore, although you don't have many room for overtaking, we are blessed with 3 DRS zones, as Martins is not really being able to make the car stick for him. He's losing the rear end a lot. It's a good thing it's no rain, because he would probably be crashed out by now with that kind of grip. But Singapore is a very tight technical circuit, not the tightest, but you do have a lot of walls around you, you do need to be careful. Don't want to lose any of that precious front wing. ARS management as well, not the biggest of issues in Singapore. Got a lot of braking zones and not too many places where to really use ERS. As Tan 1212 gets a 5 grid place penalty. He's crashed out. Dude is on an outlap, that's not good. In fact, he's ruined Dude's lap. I don't know if it was intentional blocking, accidental blocking, but definitely impeded his lap. But while that was going on, Gexi, who I think left the pits after Martins, set the lap before Martins with a 136.7 and Martins with a 138.8. Andre with a 136.1, and this is what I was talking about with the grid being quite separated, could be quite separated today. Merv Martin with a 136.8, We did see Martin struggle a bit early on in the lap, so he will have room to improve on, and probably will improve later on during Q1, probably even Q2, Q3. Excellent. Coming out of the pits now is a dude who will probably be looking to box with front wing damage and crash and having the accident with Tan 1212. Tan 1212, I don't think I think he managed to not get front wing damage, so he could be able to go on, but to that 5 grid place penalty, it's going to be a tough race for him. KCDB managed to mount a good comeback last race. Minus the last lap, he had a pretty solid race for himself, scoring up some points. Pretty consistent driver. He'll be looking to bag some more points today. And speaking of comebacks, as we are on board with Sebi Debi, this man's had comebacks of dreams. He's been not scoring the best of times and positions in qualifying, but he's always seeming to bring it back in the race, as we see him almost invalidate his lap. So, while I was spectating and talking about the other drivers, we see the new driver, the first time, the DXSinho, setting a 136.2. Andre, I don't know if he had another lap, I don't think he had a lap before, but anyway, he's got a 135.9, Sonev with a 135.7, and Het with a 135.5. Will anyone break into the 134s? I doubt it. I really do doubt it. But still, luckily I was going to say not that much of a varied pace, but already from first to third, that's already almost half a second of a gap. By the time we reached fourth place, that's over half a second of a gap, so we'll hope for some tight racing, but it is Singapore, not going to be the tightest and closest of racing. You see many drivers, they set a Q1 lap time like Het and would have entered the pits and coming back out for another lap, but you know, between these top spots, you know, I just don't see the need unless you want to get some extra practice in. It's just, you know, it's probably good enough. Tan 1212 set to 136.8. 5 place grid penalty though, so that would drop him to what? 15th? No, sorry, 14th. Can't count. Sebi Debi in the meantime also set a 136.4, not also, he's the only driver that set a 136.4. Faxelin still on his out lap, he's rounding the final corner now. And I'll be interested to see where he places. A dude's on his out lap, B12 King in the pits. MLT coming through sector 2. Jamie Robertson, I think, also just started his lap, and DPS code validated his out lap, that's fine. He'll be starting his first lap of the session just about now, as he comes across the line. On board with Faxland. It's a 126.2 for sector 1. Using as much of the track as he can, almost clips the wall there. That's the thing with Singapore, you know, you really want to push, but if you push just that 1% too hard, you're gonna find yourself on the wall. So far, Faxland's making it stick, making it work, and it is very satisfying to see a nice lap around Singapore. And while I've been on board with Faxland, Daru has set a 135.8. A really good lap from him. I think Sonev's improved on his lap time by what, half a second? He's gone up with a 135.0, so I reckon we will be seeing drivers into the 134s then. It's Faxland almost losing it underneath the tunnel, if that's even called a tunnel. As he rounds the final corner, puts on the DRS and puts himself in second with a 135.3. Andre's put in 4 laps, Sonev's put in 3 laps. KCDB is on mediums for some reason. Andre probably looking to do his end lap, not looking to his end, probably is in his end lap currently. In the meantime, DPS code set at 138.7. B12 King on an out lap. Ooh, it's very hard. It's very easy to lose the rear end in Singapore. You know, you really don't wanna, because sometimes you find yourself in such small spaces and losing the rear end just not gonna end well for you. Seeing a lot of times, at least in the 135s, 136. So maybe the grid will be a bit closer. You know, this midfield battle, I reckon from 6th to around about 10th, maybe 11th, whilst when KCDB does a lap on softs. I reckon a dude might be able to pull a slightly faster lap. Maybe even the Martins probably could as well, and then we seem to have the top 5 in the 135.9s and Sonev almost in the 134s. Jamie Robertson invalidated his lap, that's not so good from him. He'll be looking to get a move on, set another lap, if he's got enough fuel for it. B12 King is taking his sweet time on the out lap, letting drivers go by though, which is nice from him. DPS code seems to have spun underneath the tunnel, common place to spin, so don't blame him for that. Many drivers in the pits getting ready to probably go out again, or just enjoying their time in the pits, realizing that they just don't need to go out again. See Andre get 5 laps in on those softs. He's really seems to be just getting as much practice as he can, which fair enough to him, he's got the time for it, so might as well. Good performance from the new Haas driver, 36.2, looking to do an even better lap. Let's see now with his Sector 2 Delta how he's faring to his previous time. As he'll be entering the 3rd DRS zone. And he's 3 seconds off, so maybe he's on an out lap. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe this is his in lap, I'm not sure. Martins once again invalidated his lap, but luckily, I mean, it's Q1 here and the top 15 drivers pass, so as long as you're in 15th you're fine. So most drivers really just going around, strolling around for practice here. Minus B12 King and Jamie Robertson, they need to be setting laps, and DPS code will be wanting to set a faster lap. Oh yeah, Martins set a better lap with the 136.7, which is nice to see. No one's breached the 134s yet. However, so close though. It's KCDB doing some practice on the mediums. Well, as I say that, he's in the pits, so don't know why I said that. He comes out again on on softs. DPS code on an out lap, he'll be looking to set a faster lap to make sure he just doesn't go out. You know, and he'll definitely be wanting to set another lap because he's on the brink of elimination as B12 King sets his first lap of the day with a 138.0. I've never seen that camera angle before. As B12 King loses it and is out. He has retired from the session, so that means as long as Jamie Robertson can pass a 138.0, everyone else will be getting into into Q2. And I think if Jamie Robertson doesn't manage to pass 138.0, I think we'll be going in with 14 drivers then to Q2. Unfortunate stuff from B12 King. Had just finished his lap though, at least he managed to get a lap in. It's Jamie Robertson, I don't know if he lost some front wing coming through that final corner. I don't think so, it seems to be intact as he starts his lap with 2 minutes, sorry, just slightly under 3 minutes left in Q1. He's got enough time for 2 more laps. That is if he's got the fuel for it, but he'll only need 1 lap if he doesn't invalidate it, doesn't spin, you know, everything goes his way. long track Singapore, lot of places to make mistakes. Same reasoning, lot of places to gain time if you're good. As he's coming through Sector 3, it will be interesting to see where he'll place. And actually, it seems like Jamie Robertson, as long as he sets a lap, never mind. He's still in 16th with a 138.7. Because I was just looking at DPS Code here, who's also managed to pull off a 138.7. But he's ahead of B12 King with a 138.0, so I'd have thought Jamie Robertson would have also gone ahead of him with that same logic, but no. Jamie Robertson in 16th, and unless he's got fuel for one more lap, and never mind, it's invalidated. So unless he's managed to get fuel for another lap after this, which I don't think he does, Jamie Robertson will get eliminated. As DPS Code 2.4 seconds down, so he's doing a much better lap. But apart from DPS Code, we've got KCDB trying to settle up on soft, probably getting in some practice with them. A-Dude also with a lap on, trying to do a lap on softs. Rest of the grid all in the pits, except for Andre, he's getting in a lot of practice in with those softs. I would say on board the Jamie Robertson, but with plus 3 seconds. He's got no time to do another lap, probably has no fuel either, so Jamie Robertson will get eliminated from Q1. DPS Code looking to... It's interesting to see where he'll manage to go, how fast he can go. And while I was with him, KCDB put himself in 4th place with a 135.7. Cracking lap from him, wasn't able to get much practice in for Singapore today, and yet in the top 5. A-Dude comes through in Sector 2, about to start Sector 3, DPS Code entered the pit. Although according to the game he had improved on his delta, so... But then again, he is safe in 14th, so no need to really keep on going. A-Dude 8 seconds on his delta, so he'll be staying in 13th place. That's gonna leave us with the way we are. As Andre, never mind, who according to the game had set 5 laps on soft, now he's only set 1 lap on soft, so I'm guessing it's a fresh set of tires. Comes in with a cracking 134.8, being the first and currently only driver to put himself into the 134s. And that rounds up Q1. As we let the game sort itself out. Not much to commentate on while the drivers are just, going around. They don't know. The game seems to do this, it lets the extra time remaining go by even though everyone's ready. No one's left to do a lap. So just have to wait it out, let it drag on. And let's Q1 round it up. Tan 12-12 still working that 5th place grid penalty. And apparently, oh no, never mind, not apparently, B12 King did in fact get eliminated. Well, not eliminated, he crashed out, so he won't be going to Q2. And neither will Jamie Robertson. top 6 within a second of each other. Then from 7th to 12th also within a second. Or I think from 6th to 12th all within a second, so should see some battles at least. Then again it is Singapore, so not too many. But it will be something better than nothing. As we see clouds forming. Could rain be coming in soon? I have been informed by drivers that rain should be coming. There was some, no one knows whether it's in like 10 minutes or half an hour, but the rain is coming. You see some people setting their tires to mediums, and rightly so. Starting on mediums, quite a big advantage. Provided there's no rain, obviously, because that could affect strategies and safety cars as well, but starting on mediums provides a hefty advantage if everything goes the right way. And, well, you see some people looking to do it, but you know, when you go out to do a lap on mediums, or, you know, to try to get that really fast lap on mediums, you always have to, you always have to question, do I have the raw pace to pull this off? Because only the top 10 drivers go into Q3, and, you know, you see drivers probably will see this in today's session. Some of the drivers on the mediums, they'll probably place between 5th and 10th, and you know, they're at the brink of elimination. And you tell me 5th place, that's probably safe, right? But then you got the other drivers who are on the mediums, start doing laps on soft, and you start being knocked down the pegging order, and then you're at risk of elimination, and before you know it, you're out. So you have to make sure that if you're doing a lap on mediums, it's either a cracking lap or you're gonna have to go back out on those softs. Got 13 minutes, 14 minutes to do so. It's more than enough time. More than enough time to also assess the situation, as basically the entire grid is out on track, apart from the EPS code. But everyone else out and about, getting ready to do a lap time. Het was the first driver out. Well, if he wasn't the first driver out, he's currently the first driver that's going to set the lap, most probably. As he rounds the final corner and starts his lap. It's only 3 corners in Singapore. And probably drivers at start on mediums. If the rain's gonna come in Q2, then could impact their strategy even further, because they don't get the chance to do a lap on softs, and well, obviously in the rain you're gonna be slower. As I think I'm already seeing rain drizzling down, slowly. I'm not sure if it's just that or graphics going wrong, but if rain is slowly starting to come down, then the drivers on mediums definitely won't get a chance to do a lap on soft, so, and it is in fact rain. So they really better get a move on it, and unless this is a cracking lap, they're gonna be eliminated. It's only 3 drivers on mediums, 3 drivers who sure had quite a lot of pace in Q1, but they're gonna be hoping that they've got 4 drivers or so who absolutely ruin their laps on softs, and by then, you know, it will be time to switch to inters probably, so then they'll be safe. But for these 3 drivers to pass into Q3, it's gonna take a minor miracle. Merv Martin's invalidated his lap, and so he'll probably get eliminated. Be interesting to see if he doesn't, how things play out, how much rain falls obviously. As Het crosses the Bumpier crosses the line with a 1:26.7 on the mediums. Martin's gonna cross the line now. On softs, let's see the pace difference between these 2 guys as Martins crashes out, and he crossed the finishing line, but unfortunately for him, although he crossed the finishing line, the game didn't consider his lap. So Martins is definitely out and will be eliminated. He'll put himself in 15th most probably. Merv Martin's looking probably to do another lap on those mediums while he still can. Andre on the mediums, that's also 1:36.7. and Sebi Debi with the soft with a 137.7. So he probably made a mistake somewhere along the way because he can't do faster than that. Rain coming in, obviously. More rain comes in, harder it's gonna be. So laps you set now are probably gonna be the fastest laps of the session. So these boys really gotta step on it. This A-Dude apparently is on mediums, but the game's saying he's on soft, so don't know what's going on there. Again with Tan 1212, he's on the mediums, game saying he's on softs, top right saying on mediums he is. Sets a 138.5, now that is probably not gonna cut it. He'll probably be wanting to do another lap on soft, but with the rain coming in, probably a lap on softs by then, just won't be fast enough to even beat the 138.5 theoretically, so Tan 1212 could very well get eliminated. So A-Dude, as we mentioned, is on the mediums. Any of the other drivers on mediums? Gexy is on the mediums. DPS code invalidated his lap. If he's got enough fuel in the tank, he'll go for one more round. Sonev with a 137.4 on mediums. Bit slower than the top two, but maybe made a mistake on the way. Probably more rain also set in, so I mean the rain starting to slow out drivers as we see KCDB, and if it was, I don't know if it was rain or I made a mistake, but 139.2 on the softs. Merv with the 139 on the mediums. This Q2 is playing out to be very interesting so far. A-Dude sets a 140.1 on mediums. Time's getting slower and slower as more rain sets in. And the longer you wait in this session, the worse it's gonna be. You know, normally I say, just wait it out, wait for the drivers to like, just go out and then take your time so you're in fresh air, no one's around you. But if I were a driver in this session, I've been out of the box immediately, get as much clear track as dry track as I can. Avoid the rain as much as possible, get the fastest possible lap time, because now with the rain, you're just gonna slow yourself down. Faxland's about to come across turn 23 on those softs. One of the fastest drivers on the grid. Sorry, never mind, he was on an out lap, he starts his lap now. My bad. SDXS is on his out lap. Deru just sets a lap with a 140.1, and DPS code has retired from the session. I'm guessing he crashed. It's a shame I can't view it, but it's seeming like he also crashed, so he'll be starting in 14th and Martins in 13th, provided Faxland and the XSS both set the lap time, which they seem to be on track of doing. Yeah, no, those slicks slowly, obviously losing grip due to the rain. Deru with 140.4 on the softs, struggling for grip. Mono 6.2, and let's see how that compares to Andre. Oh, I can't check. Never mind, don't feel like doing the maths of combining Sector 1 and Sector 2, so we'll just enjoy the watch of Faxland going through Singapore in the rain. Coming through Sector 3. Almost lost it, and that's my point right there. One of the fastest drivers on the grid, Faxland, waited long to do his lap, only got a 140.6 and is currently outside of the top 10. Currently will get eliminated, won't make it to Q3. Sure, one advantage is he gets whatever choice of tire he desires, but starting from 11th place, that requires quite a decent comeback, and DXS hasn't validated his lap, so he'll probably also be getting eliminated because more rain is settling in. And many drivers were able to set laps on mediums. and are probably going to be good enough to stick with it. As you see Adude now coming out on softs, I don't think he's going to do better than 140.1 on those softs. And no disrespect to him, but Faxlin got a 140.6 on softs. I really don't think he's going to be going faster than that 140.1. Also, KCDB on softs. Now this would be an interesting test. Did the softs lap on softs earlier, got to 139.0. Will be interesting to see if he can get a faster lap than that. You know, he's in 7th place, so it's a risky position, but with more rain settling in, it's not that risky anymore. As he's slowly getting ready for his next lap. The Exosenio invalidated his last lap. He'll be looking to cut again, but I reckon he'll get eliminated. Apart from that, many drivers in the pits. We've only got 2 drivers out, KCDB and Adude. Gexy coming out now. Daru as well, Faxland as well. DXS will be looking to come out shortly. But I reckon the top 6 definitely have no need of coming out unless they want to get some practice in. As KCDB starts his lap. As the Exosenio has retired from the session, I don't know if he had come out of the pits, but if he didn't, well, I don't really blame him. He isn't going to be setting probably a lap that gets him into Q3. So he'll be starting in 13th, DPS code in 14th, Martins in 12th, which means that only 1 driver from the remaining 11 will get eliminated. Only 1 driver from the remaining 11 won't go to Q3. And at this stage, it looks like it's Faxland who's just come out with the softs, and I don't know if it's the game glitching or if he's just making a bit of mistakes on his part, but it looks like he's just got no grip on those softs, which is to be expected. Daru, as long as he can climb to 9th, he'll probably be safe as long as Adu doesn't come out again and do a faster lap. But in fact, Adu I think had come out on softs, didn't do a faster lap. KCDB not doing a faster lap. And the rest of the grid just in the pits. I mean, not much else to do really. Gexy also coming back into the pits. But we see Daru now starting a lap. Only competition is Faxland. So realistically, as long as Faxland doesn't pass that 140.4 mark, Daru will be fine. DRS has been disabled by race control, and that indicates, normally to me, in a race when DRS is disabled by race control, that's the optimal time to switch to winters. And these two are out there on softs, so they probably have not a lot of grip, not probably going to be going faster than the lap times they've already set, as Faxland just goes straight into the wall knowing he's just going to set a faster lap time. Still though, he could have just gone into the pits and retired normally, but that means that we have our top 10 ready for Q3. Daru out there doing a lap for absolutely no reason whatsoever. If I were him, I'd just slow down, make sure I don't crash out, because if he does, he won't be going to Q3 either. And I must say, Q2 has really set up an interesting race for us, at least position-wise. we've seen Faxland, Martins, DXS, DPS Gold, some decently fast drivers in there, especially Faxland, who have been knocked out due to this rain. And that is the end of Q2. For once, we won't need to wait. I think we won't need to wait for those 3 minutes, because I think all the drivers were just done from their laps. We're just all done from their laps, and the game took that into consideration for once. So many drivers in the top 10 will be starting on mediums. In fact, there's only 2 drivers who will be starting on softs, and that's Sebi and KCDB. So the drivers on mediums will have an advantage for the race, as long as rain doesn't play a factor or safety cars. Because the softs, how many laps do they last? What, 5 to 10 laps? And a 50% race? So safety car will probably come in within the first 10 laps, but I reckon if it does, it's on like what, lap 1, lap 2. So as Q3 has even more rain, don't know how the race is going to be, haven't been informed, but Q3 definitely going to be testing the driver's capabilities in the wet weather, because you know, Singapore, the tough track as it is, to go and make it in the rain, my oh my, it's even harder. Drivers will be fighting for their lives to keep their car in one piece. Also trying to set the best lap time. Thank you, MMA. According to the game, we're looking at a dry race, so if that's the case, the driver's wet capabilities will be test just for qualifying. Me, myself, I don't like driving in the rain. I'm not a good driver in the rain. So I always hate when qualifying or the races in the rain, but qualifying especially, because I find myself easily dropping down the pecking order, because I'm just not that good in the rain, and when I've got a lot more pace on the dries, on the slicks, it pisses me off. But anyway, we see some varied tyres, most drivers on wets, couple drivers taking a risk on the inters. And it will be interesting to see which tyres got more grip. First driver out, the pink Racing Point of, I was gonna say of Faxland, but my bad, it's of Sonev. Seems to be the first driver out, probably will be the first driver to set a lap. He is on the inters, one of the few drivers on the inters. What do I reckon the fastest lap time will be? I'd say we're looking around the 2-minute marker, probably. Somewhere around there. You lose a lot of time in the rain, and Singapore with 23 turns in it, you lose even more time. But so far, Sonev seems to have been able to keep, I know it's only an outlap, so it'll be going slower, but he seems to be able to have, I was just gonna say decent grip with those inters, but he almost went sliding off into the sunset as he rounds turn 23. It'll be interesting to see how the inters will compare. In fact, also we've seen Het right behind him on the wet, so we'll see a very close comparison between these two drivers. And MLT also on wets, also started his lap. A dude also on wets. So Sonev currently the only duckling on those inters. And I'm not sure if I'm correct, but I think Het has caught up ever so slightly to Sonev. Whether it's the wets, whether it's his driving skill, I have no idea. But I think Het is catching to Sonev. On board with Hef now. Sorry, Bumpier. He seems to have more grip than Sonev. In fact, I think he let Bumpier go by, I think. Probably seeing that the wets are indeed faster. It's almost an ice rink out there. And yeah, Sonev really struggling for grip in those inters. So people who are out on inters will probably be looking to come back in on the wets as soon as they can. KCDB, a driver, enjoys driving in the rain normally, but I don't think he's the biggest fan of Singapore, probably partially due to not having enough time to practice in it. And it's interesting to note, but in one way or another, we've had rain in around, what, 75, 3/4 of the races now? Not races, well, because over here it seems like they won't be able to have rain in the race, we'll only have rain during quali right now. So they did enter the pits, and Bumpier has set a 1:58.6 on the wets, KCDB with a 1:59.0, almost 1:59.1. Dude to 1:59.4. So we're seeing a pattern here of around 4/10 difference. Daru, whew. Word single of pace from him earlier on, but he comes in with a 1:58.0, 6/10 faster than Bumpier. Andre on those inters, as we see the inters struggling for grip. Got a 2.02. In the meantime, while I've been checking my phone quickly, Tan 1212's got an A1:59.6, Merv Martin with a 1:59.8, and the drivers here seem to be closer paced in the wet than they were in the dry. Either that or it's just the top 10 just really forming together. Sebi Debi's now coming out on the wets, Sonev coming out on the wets, Gexy coming out on the wets, Het its new fastest lap with a 1:57.9. So did he make a mistake earlier on in his first lap? Or has the track just become more optimal for wet tires than inters now, so faster lap times are possible on the wets? As Daru claps back at Bumpier with the 1:57.0. What an interesting turn of events. We saw Daru who was 6/10 ahead of Bumpier, and then Bumpier went quite ahead of Daru, and now Daru has almost gone a second ahead of Bumpier. These guys just going back and forth, trading fastest laps. And the rest of the drivers just trailing behind over, what, 2 seconds behind them. Well, not 2 seconds, sorry, a second behind Bumpier, basically 2 seconds behind Daru though. right now we find ourselves on board with Gexy, fellow admin along with KCDD of TRL. Any new people that have joined the stream since the start, I'd like to welcome you. We've got a little over 3 minutes of qualifying left until the race begins. Gexy's just started his lap, Sonev as well, Debbie as well. Andre's come out on the wets now. I was about to speak about Merv, but A-Dude just set a lap with a 158.8. Not just a lap, sorry, faster lap. KCDB is on his out lap. Tanto of 12 still in the pits, not a lot of time left to make his way out and set a better lap time. With the rain, I mean, unless you get out for like just now, he's not gonna have enough time to go back out. As in fact, we see the Ferrari of Tanto of 12 coming out, and I reckon Bumpier, who's in the pits, he's gonna have to settle for that 157.9 because he's not gonna have enough time to set another lap. So he's gonna be hoping that time he's got is good enough for second. We see him come out, but I know for what 99.9, add as many nines as you want to that percent of a chance that he's not gonna have enough time to set another lap. As we see A-Dude coming through Sector 2. About to start Sector 3. Normally you've got DRS through this straight, but with the rain you don't, so just, you know, you trundle along around down there. Seeing he's taking a very tight line. I don't know if it's because of the wet or of the rain, which you just don't, if the car just doesn't even let you, or you don't need to go that far out, but definitely a tight line nonetheless. Andre looking to set a lap on wets. He just started this lap now. Sebi Debi now sets his first lap on the wets, only at 2.03. Hope he's got enough fuel in the tank to do another lap, because that was not a good lap from him. Sonev also on the wets at 2.04. Again, not good. Curious to see his delta, curious to see if he's got fuel in the tank to do a better lap than that. Andre as well, slowed to 2.02 on those inters. I know he's on the wet, so interesting to see where he goes now. And Sonev has improved on his delta by 1.1 seconds, so he's probably got good stuff going on for him. Sebi Debi's invalidated his lap and crashed, so so he's retired. So Sebi Debi will start from 9th place, most probably 10th, as long as Sonev can keep it in one piece. Andre is going along strong, Gexy as well. We've seen Merv's finished, Tanto of 12's finished, KCDB invalidated his lap. I think it was going slower anyway, it seems like, so not much of a difference for him. A-Dude, Bumpier, both finished. Deroux going slower with a 157.0. He's on provisional pole. I reckon he will get pole position unless Gexy, Andre or Sonev have something to say about that. As Gexy now is coming through almost the end of Sector 3. I don't think it's fast enough though to get him pole. Sonev's retired from the session. He'll start from 10th. I think he crashed. He seems to be driving along, so he must have made a mistake or something. Not sure about that. Gexy remains in 7th with a 2 minutes 1.7, because normally, you know, it's only 1 minute, so that's what we consider. And Andre wasn't able to go faster on those wets. He set a slower lap time on the wets than the inters by 1/1000th of a second. fascinating. And that's Q3 done and dusted. So yeah, Derulo in pole position, Bumpier in second, Adude in third, KCDB in fourth, Tan1212 in fifth, Merv Martin in sixth, Gexy in seventh, who's currently the leader in the standings. Andre, previous race winner, not literally the previous race, but excuse me, but he's won a race. In eighth, Sebi Debi in ninth, and Sonev in 10th. Sonev also has previously won a race. As the formation lap's about to start, unfortunately, I forgot to set the race to official time, so you'll be seeing the only race in Singapore that's in the, sorry, I've forgotten words here. The only race in Singapore during the day, there we go. My mind completely stopped functioning for a second. Drivers setting new strategies, making sure things all prepared, all good. Jamie Robertson's left the session. Not to worry too much. It is only the formation lap, and he does have other invites he can use. I'll send him an extra one just in case. We see some drivers getting DQ'd on formation lap. Completely baffles me how that happens. But anyway. Lads, what's going on? How do you not know how to do a formation lap? It ain't that hard. So we have Derulo in first, Bumpier in second, Adude in third, fellow Renault teammate KCDB in fourth, Merv Martin in fifth, Gexy in sixth, Andre in seventh, Sebi Debi in eighth, Sonev in ninth. We've got Tan1212 in 10th, Faxland in 11th, Martins in 12th, DXS Inyo in 13th, DPS Code in 14th, P12 King 15th, Jamie Robertson 16th. Only 16 drivers on the grid today. We've got Merv Martin in place of Jai Fletcher, could very well become a full-time driver in his place. Only reserve that was available today, hence only 16 drivers on the grid. Drivers soon coming up to their grid slots. Singapore race soon about to get underway. 31 laps, 50% race. And I am ready for this one. Hope you guys all are. I wish luck to all the drivers as they slowly start coming up to their grid slots. Some of them already are there. The lights are on. We have 5 red lights. I don't know why the game does this every time. It's lights out and away we go. Jamie Robertson is not in first. The game's glitched on me there. Deroux is in first as Bompier makes a good claim for first. He is in first. He managed to get past Deroux. And considering turn 1, I was expecting chaos. It is very, very clean. A lot of drivers have gained and lost positions. Stanton 12th has lost 6 positions, and Martins has lost 4. None of those contact. But most drivers have kept it in one piece. Jamie Robertson currently all the way down there. And there we go, the game's set itself. Bompier is in fact in first. Already almost a second away from Deroux. Not the best of starts from him. A-Dude almost a second behind Deroux. Merv Martin in fourth. And the KCDB Gexio both very close behind him. As Gexio gets past KCDB, it looked like KCDB was going to mount a challenge back there. But he didn't have room to do so, as I think we saw drivers almost side by side coming through the bridge. You know, don't got a lot of room for it, as Faxon makes a really nice move down the inside of DXasinho through the hairpin there, but DXasinho got more grip than Faxon could. But Faxon re-attacks down the inside. Oh, almost forced DXasinho wide, almost gave him wing damage. I hope he didn't give him wing damage, but that was really close. Good racing from the lads. The 2 racing points in 9th and 10th. As you see, that was the Alfa Romeo, I think, of DPS code. It is indeed spun out. He spun out in the tunnel during qualifying as well. It keeps catching him off guard. He's in last place, got front wing damage. That's going to really ruin his race. Tab 12-12, the fellow Ferrari. Sorry, not fellow Ferrari. He's the only Ferrari on the grid. Being the last man to set the lap. Jamie Robertson's needing to pit. Probably got front wing damage. As Merv Martin's caught up a lot to A-Dude. Yeah, I've gone. I think the one-stop strategy is the most optimal strategy from mediums to hards. It's Merv Martin really close to A-Dude. Definitely within that 1 second, he'll be looking to use DRS once it's enabled next lap. But A-Dude's already 2 seconds away from Deroux, and Deroux already over a second away from Bompier. Almost 2 seconds now. As we do like to see these midfield battles for maybe for third, not midfield for third, for the last podium spot. We normally do have interesting battles for it. We see A-Dude, Merv, and Gexi all really close together. Last issue at Singapore, you don't got a lot of overtaking room, but you can stay close to your opponent, so once you do have that opportunity, really pounce on it. I think Merv slightly hit the wall there. I don't think he got front wing damage, thankfully for him, but was close indeed. So these three drivers really close to each other. DRS will be enabled now. They'll be able to use DRS on the next DRS zone. And behind these three, we've got Andres going up 1 position, DXasinho is going up 5. KCDB is having to pit. I think he's got front wing damage if he's doing that, and that's unfortunate. No front wing damage, it seems. Just wanted to swap onto the mediums already, only 3 laps in. Interesting stuff. Jamie Robertson on the Williams in 15th and DPS Code in 16th after getting front wing damage. Martins as well also had to pit early on. As Andre and Dixasinho fighting, I'm sure I missed that, but Andre seemed to get past Dixasinho. Dixasinho looking to fight back again. Down the inside he goes. They touch, and that's a crash. Dixasinho got front wing damage. Andre managed to go out relatively unscathed. I don't think he got any front wing damage. You know, Singapore, it's a tight track. You don't got a lot of room to go side by side. You really got to be really tight and clean. So really clean. As we saw, Andre trying to go, almost went down, looking down the inside of Faxland. Obviously, he didn't see the room because there was no room. And thankfully for him and for Faxland, he backed out of it. Murph Martin in 3rd. So he did get past Stadium while all that was going on. So he's currently in the final podium spot. Gexy close behind as well. Jamie Robertson getting a bunch of penalties. Jamie Robertson has retired from the session. Don't know if he's crashed. I think he might have. That is a full course safety car. As we see the Red Bull of someone's in the pits. Yeah, people. It was Red Bull of Deru in the pits, so we see drivers entering the pits now. Because of the safety car coming out, smart call and strategy. If you're on the mediums, at least that's a smart call. So let's take a look at tires. Sorry, if you're on the softs, it was a smart call to pit. If you're on the mediums, I don't reckon it was that smart. Maybe the hards could last till the end, or you do lose a lot of time. So don't know if it's the best of stuff. Unfortunately, the Dixasinho was having a good race, Zoe. But there was contact between him and Andre, which led to both of them spinning. Andre relatively unscathed. Dixasinho unfortunately got front wing damage, so he had to pit for that. And I'm curious to see if the hards will last till the end of the race, or if we'll see drivers go from hards to softs. And with the safety car out and about, I think everyone, sorry, the bottom 8 have made a pit stop. And some of them are on the hards and could very well go on till the end of the session. Jim Robertson was unfortunate. He did lose control out of turn 1 and crashed out. He wasn't having the best of races, lost control, shame. It's good for DPS Code and the Dixasinho, and I think Martins as well. Three drivers that had to pit early, I'm pretty sure, and had front wing damage, so they'll probably be glad that the safety car came out so they can easily catch up to their opponents. It's free catch up basically. Most of the drivers have caught up to the safety car. I reckon safety car will end, could end this lap, maybe next lap. The two Red Bulls, Martins and Deru, find themselves in 7th and 8th. Mercedes again putting up a strong performance for their constructor in 2nd and 4th. Murph Martin had reserved for us, I think reserved for us at least one race already. hadn't had a great performance, but is now finding himself in second place. Had good pace during qualifying, so it's nice to see that. You know, I can't judge a driver over one race, so it's good stuff from him. Two Renaults, 911. B12 King wasn't with us for the last two races. Is with us today, finds himself in 13th place. Not the grandest stuff, but he'll be looking to mount a comeback, and the safety car is in this lap. So we'll be going racing again. And that is nice to see. Sebi Debi gets a 5-second time penalty for severe collision with KCDB. I think KCDB also got a penalty for that. KCDB seems to have lost front wing, so I think there must have been a mistake from one of their ends. And, well, yes, KCDB's got to pit. That's sad for him. There's DPS goal, I think, spun during the safety car or something, because, well, he's just having a go by himself over there. We are back racing. Bumpy managed to already get the second between himself and Merv Martin. Gexy very close to Merv. Andre also very close to Gexy. Very nice cinematic shot. Bumpy managing to keep over that lead by over a second to Merv. And so far, this race in Singapore, I've not been talking much, I mean, not much to really go off, but it's been pretty tight. A lot of front wing damage as expected. It is a tight circuit. But we've seen already a decent amount of overtakes on a track where, you know, it's not really made for overtaking. Faxland got past Sebi Debi. I think DRS is enabled next lap as Sebi Debi goes really deep through that corner. Almost loses his front wing. Almost made contact with Sebi Debi, as Faxland also now challenges Daru, manages to get past, and Sebi Debi also fancies getting past Daru and also does round the outside. Daru losing 2 places in one straight. Not great for him. In the meantime, Andre and Gexy side by side is very close, very tight stuff. Last time Andre was side by side with someone, they spun and crashed, and it's happened yet again. And this time it's Gexy who's crashed and lost his front wing. Being a clean driver, letting drivers go by, not unsafely rejoining the track. We've got a VSC. I think Andre has also managed to luckily come out of that with his front wing fully intact. How's this man pulled this off twice? Crashed the 2 drivers, I'm pretty sure in the same place, very close. Both times he's come out seemingly relatively unscathed, and the other driver coming out with front wing damage. And Gexy, who is currently at the top of the standings, I think also the most consistent driver on the grid, currently has no front wing. in 13th place. We are back racing. Andre got, as a drive-through penalty, needs to serve for speeding under VSC. And Gexio now his race isn't going that great for him. He's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. As if it wasn't bad enough, he had to go in to change his front wing. Got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. He won't be enjoying that one. Sonev though, slowly but surely been climbing the ranks. Up 5 places, Martins as well up 6. KCDB's retired from the session. I don't know if he's crashed. No, he hasn't. He's doing what other drivers should be doing when they want to retire from the session. He's entered the pits, retired from the session. It's good stuff from him. So that ends his race. We're left with 14 drivers on the grid. Sonev is still very close to Andre, and they'll be coming up to the DRS zone now after turn 23. I don't think he'll be able to get the move during this corner, but the next DRS zone is very possible as Faxon and Martins are side by side. Faxon gets past Martins, a clean overtake, nice stuff from him. And Sonev hasn't been able to get past Andre. And now with the next DRS zone, yes, I was correct. This could come in handy to Sonev, could get past Andre. He is 7/10 behind him, so that's quite the distance he needs to gain. But we see him inching closer and closer. But he's too far back. He took a peek, took a gander, but too far back to get the job done. Tan 12-12 in 5th. I don't think he scored the point yet this season. I am unsure of that though. Far, I think I've only scored 1 point so far, and they'll be looking to score a decent number of points for them today. Sfaxland also climbing the ranks, finds himself in 6th. A-Dude 7th. Sepi Debi, normally the guy for comebacks, was involved in some unfortunate contact, finds himself in 8th. Sorry, I don't think he had lost any front wing there, so at least that's that. Sonev still lurking behind Andre, still taking peeks, but still not being able to get the job done. And Andre, by holding back Sonev, or well, not holding back, but by Sonev not being able to get past, Tan 12-12 has also been able to catch up to Sonev, and he's within 1 second as we see Andre pit now. So let's Sonev go by. Tan 12-12 though is now within a second of Sonev, so now he'll kind of use that DRS to stay within that 1 second, or maybe even get past. As Sonev is now seemingly slowly losing time to Murph Martin. Bompier, strong driver, good driver. 2.5 seconds on Murph Martin. And Tan 12-12 already starting to fall behind to Sonev. Out of the DRS zone that keeps him close by, and DXSS and A-Dude were side by side for a second. DXSS managed to go around the outside, and Sepi Debi is also there. He'll be looking to pounce and also get past A-Dude, as the Rue has pit. We're almost 1/3 through the race. I think we are at 1/3 through the race. We see DRS being enabled for A-Dude and Sepi Debi. Both of them though too far away from the driver in front to get the job done. Gexi also close to Martins, battling it out for 10th. strong performance for DX Asenio. Was unfortunate to be involved in contact early on in the race, but finds himself in 6th place. And is on the hard compound, so could very well go until the end of the race. But I am not so sure it's possible, so it'll be interesting to see if people can do that. Tan 1212 has crashed. Lost a lot of front wing. I think he crashed onto pit entry, which is unfortunate for him. As now DX Asenio seemingly able to put a lot of distance between himself and A-Dude, and Sebi Debi really on. A-Dude's tail opens up that DRS. I can get the move done by the end of the straight, not even have to go. Yeah, he gets the move done by the end of the straight, not even having to go side by side on the corner. And A-Dude, you know, on the hard compound tires, losing a lot of time. And I wonder if maybe he's got a bit of front wing damage. I don't think so though. His front wing seems to be intact, so it could just be the hard tires, as he's already almost a second off Sebi Debi, which leaves the only close fight. I was gonna say leaves the only close fight between Gexy and Andre for 10th, but Sonev and Merv very close as well. Sonev managed to gain around 8/10 in these laps to Merv, almost within that 1 second gap to be able to use DRS. He seems to be within that 1 second gap now, so he'll be able to use DRS come to next DRS zone. We'll be looking to get that 2nd place. And if he does get the 2nd place, I think it could propel him to the top of the Drivers' Championship. As heads pit. And Sonev opens DRS, takes a bit of a gander again down the inside, but he knows he's too far away, doesn't even bother for an attempt. It's the next DRS zone which is really prime for overtaking, as Gexy is also hasn't been able to get past DX Asenio. Faxland finds himself in 3rd. Good stuff from him, and this is what I mean. This DRS zone is so good for overtaking, but Merv Martin using all the ERS, sorry, and I'm guessing to stay ahead of Sonev, but Sonev with more ERS than Merv Martin. He's doing some really good ERS management, and we could see him push more and get the job done, but maybe he's just letting Merv Martin do a mistake or something. They're both on medium tires, they'll both be needing to pit again at some point. I don't think those medium tires will be able to last at the end. Strong performance from Merv so far. Faxland really Sonev really close behind, but Faxland has been indeed closing that gap, and so is DX Asenio slowly coming along. As Sebi Debi, thank God we decided to put on ghosting. That back marker was going to be getting in the way. Andre has closed up the gap to Martins, who almost clipped the wall there if he didn't. Luckily no front wing damage. Andre really close behind Martins. Gexy seems to have fallen off a bit behind Andre. Used to be half a second behind him, but now it's Andre that's half a second behind him. And while I'm on them, Merv Martin is pit. So Sonev's gone in 1st and Faxland's gone in 2nd, the 2 racing points. And Faxland's on hard, so I don't know if it's possible, but if it is, he could go to the end of the race on that compound, and Sonev on the mediums, he'll be looking to stop once more. So he'll be looking to build a gap between him and Faxland. Faxland is on harder compound, but his tires are more fresh, if I'm not mistaken. We can check that out. His tires are more fresh indeed, so it's really hard to build that gap that he needs. As we are now on board with Andre, he'll be looking to use this DRS zone and the next to close up the gap to Martins and then get past him. As any remaining drivers on the mediums would probably be looking to pit round about now, soon enough to go on the hard compound tire. And Andre's closed up the gap a bit. Martin's almost spun out there, and this next DRS zone, if Andre can get a good exit, could prove very useful for him. He is on a harder compound tire, so it will be hard. Andre's left the session. Oh no. He does have an extra invite, but just in case I'm going to give him another one. And I don't think he meant to leave. I think that was just connection issues. It's cost him a lot of time. And that's unfortunate. He's mounting a real challenge to Martins. But now he's fallen 4 seconds behind. Was mounting a real challenge, 4.5 seconds behind Martins. And now Gexi is side by side with him. And manages to get past as well, so those unfortunate slight connection issues from Andre dropped him a position and around 5 seconds behind Martins. And the grid's very evened out as Bumpier was the previous race leader. Sets fastest lap with 140.4 on the hard compound tires. It did pit, so fresh tires will definitely be able to go to the end. Merv's pit. He'll be able to go to the end on those tires. So's Tan. Martins, 2 laps on mediums, could go to the end. I don't know though. It is risky stuff. Sonev will be looking to pit soon to go on those hards, unless he'll try to do some insane task of going from mediums to softs. Unfortunately, KCDB got a drive-through penalty and then made a mistake and did the safe thing. When you want to retire, you go to the pits and you retire. It's the safe thing to do, it's the proper thing to do, and he's done it. I think a good example. Unfortunately though for him, he was looking to bag some solid points. Martins and Deroux in 9th and 13th respectively. Deroux, unfortunate, lost 12 places. I think he was involved in contact earlier on. But there's a lot of drivers that are still yet to pit, so he could still gain some positions. Martins up 3 places. DXS Inyo, beautiful stuff from him, up 10 places. Faxon as well up 9. Sonev up 8. Sonev still needs to pit though, I think. And I think, yeah, Faxon and DXS Inyo are 2 of the people that pit earlier on the hards. And I'm here very unsure if those hards are gonna last till the end of the race. So that will be interesting to see very on at the end. There's A-Dudes within the 2nd of Sebi Debi, gonna be using that DRS to get past. Seems to be too far back though to get it done on this occasion. And just let's go. Much of the grid's very spread out. Just this battle for 5th going on between A-Dude and battle for 4th between A-Dude and Sebi Debi. Most of the drivers all with a time penalty of some sort. But we see large gaps forming, and that's the issue with Singapore. You already don't have a lot of time, a lot of space to overtake, and most of the time the grid really does spread out, and spread out it is. As we see, Sebi Debi enters the pits, and A-Dude goes up to 4th. Now, who do I spectate? The Accessinios also pit. Het seemingly closing the gap strongly to A-Dude. Already managed to close that gap to under a second, so he'll be within that DRS zone. He'll be within that 1 second to use DRS. The Accessinio as well. He'll be looking to go into 6th place, get past Tan. Can't do it on well, actually, he might be able to do it on this occasion. Actually, this is a long DRS straight, but he can't get it done. He's too far back. Bumpier getting really close. Got DRS down this straight. I don't see many overtakes being done, but in fact he seems to be too far back to even think about it. As the Xacinio also slightly too far back. Really nice overhead helicopter shots. Took a gander around the outside. Was too far off, but that DRS will now come in handy. We could see him go around the outside. He's going around the outside. Off tan, gets past before the corner even comes. That was a nice move from the Xacinio as Bumpier also really close to A-Dude. Only 3/10 off. He's been using this DRS zone to really close the gap. Might even look down the inside. He's too far back to do it, but the next DRS zone he's going to really mount a strong challenge on A-Dude. Oh, before the next DRS zone he's looking round the outside of A-Dude. Concedes the position, now looks for the switchback. He's going to have DRS enabled. He's got more pace, he's got DRS as well. He's going to get past in the straight. A-Dude managing to hold his own, but that combination of ERS, which is almost at 0, managed to get past A-Dude. A-Dude really fought for that. Martins enters the pits. He's pretty close behind Gexy. He'll be looking also to use DRS to get past. Not using DRS even though he's got the option to. An output, or at least the game told me he wasn't. Didn't seem like he was. Nonetheless though, got past Gexy. Cracking stuff. A-Dude, don't know if he's gaining or losing on Bumpier. Merv Martin again coming up. Now he seems to be gaining on A-Dude. And Sonev's entered the pits. Merv Martin's up to 4th, so he'll be looking to fight for that final podium spot. As the Xacinio recently pit, gets the new fastest lap with the 138.9. And he finds himself currently in the top 10, the Xacinio, so he'll be gaining an extra point for that, as long as he can stay within the top 10. And Merv Martin, although had DRS on that long straight, couldn't get past A-Dude yet. A-Dude managing his ERS well, saving it seemingly entirely all for that one straight, and it's smart. That's the main overtaking position. As the Rue who's gaining on B12 King. I think Martin's at pit, so that's why he's in 13th. And while I would like to watch the Rue more, the battle for the podium position is more important. Looked for a second down the inside, but it was too far back to do it. He'll be looking to do it on lap 19. Daru as well, really close behind B12 King, like insanely close. But that eased up a bit, because he had no room to do it. Merv Martin taking a peek down the inside, but too far back to get past. Daru gets past B12 King. Almost goes into the wall there. B12 King seemingly almost losing the rear end. But Daru seems to get past. Merv Martin now has DRS, and I reckon now he'll be able to get past. He's really close behind A-Dude. And A-Dude's once again fighting back, just like he did against Bumpier. And Merv Martin goes up to 3rd. Faxton's in 1st. When did this happen? I must have missed out on that or forgot, but Faxton's in 1st apparently, and Bumpier in 2nd, Merv Martin in 3rd, A-Dude in 4th. Not much else to spectate on. B12 King losing time to Daru, and I reckon Merv Martin will slowly start pulling away from A-Dude as well. And in fact, A-Dude has lost time to Merv Martin. B12 King also lost time to Daru. There's just not a lot to go on. We've got 11 laps of racing, and I think it's going to be pretty much 11 laps of dead racing. Faxland in the lead, Bompier in second, Merv Martin third. That rounds up to top 3. You take a look at tires. The only thing I can see which could make this race slightly more interesting is the fact that Faxland and A-Dude are both running on 15 lap old hards, and the XS Inyo is on 3 lap old mediums. Sonev is on 1 lap old hards. He recently pitted from the mediums to the hards. Couldn't go to softs because they wouldn't have lost it till the end of the race. Couldn't go to mediums because you need to use a different tire compound, so unfortunately for him he had to switch to the hards for only 11 laps. So yeah, unless Faxland will need to end up pitting, I reckon he'll try to stick it out till the end. Have like 80% tire wear most probably. He'll try to stick it out to the end, I reckon, though. He does have a 16-second gap to second place. So as long as he can keep it in one piece, Faxland could be getting his second win. And up 10 spots as well. It would have been a cracking race. Would have been my driver of the day most probably if he ends up winning the race. As Sonev, really close to A-Dude, finally we've got some action. Within half a second of A-Dude. A-Dude's been slowly falling down the pecking order. But Sonev is a faster driver than A-Dude. He is on a fresher set of hards. So he's got all the advantages. He's also got DRS now to make A-Dude's life even harder, but A-Dude doesn't have much DRS to fight with. And Sonev gets past without much of a hassle. Goes to 4th. He'll be looking to catch up to Merv Martin for 3rd place. He's got 10 laps to do so. 3 seconds is a big lap. Sorry, it's a big time to close down. But if you can do it, it'll be some good stuff. The XS Inyo closing that gap to A-Dude. He is on mediums. He could mount a challenge for 4th place, maybe even 3rd eventually, because Sonev's closing down that gap. Will be hard, but he's got 10 laps. If he can do 10 laps of solid driving, he could find himself on the podium, but it's going to be some excellent stuff from him. And I reckon that the XS Inyo, by come the next DRS zone, will be able to use DRS. In fact, he's already almost within, he's already under 1 second, so he'll definitely have DRS on the next straight. Well, not definitely, things can go wrong, but you know what I mean. Andres left the session again. He's got another invite. I'm going to invite him once more just in case. As the XS Inyo is really close behind A-Dude. Looks and has DRS, and we're finally going to see an overtake, I think, in turn 1 now. As he seems to get it done, gets past A-Dude. B12 King's retired from the session. And the virtual safety car is out. And that's not good for the XS Inyo. He needed to maximize these 10 laps as much as he could, using those mediums to gain on Sonev and Merv Martin. And the VSC does not help his cause at all. Kexy's in the pits. Andre's also in the pits. And Sonev has gotten a drive-through penalty for speeding under VSC. And that's changed the game. He was gaining on Merv Martin. DXSinio is really close behind him, but he'll be able to get past Sonev probably really easily, since Sonev's got that drive-through penalty, but he's got right behind on his tail anyway. DXSinio will be looking not to push past Sonev, will be looking not to push hard too much. He doesn't want to crash into Sonev, who will be able to get past since he's got a drive-through penalty. And then we'll need to gain around 3 seconds for that final podium spot against Merv Martin. And Sonev has got a 5 seconds penalty for speeding in the pit lane. It's all going wrong for him now in the final few laps. And DXSinio gaining on Merv Martin. Sonev's retired from the session. So he's gonna definitely fall out of the points. We're left with only 12 drivers left. And DXSinio slowly closing that gap. Gexy within a second of Martins. It's a fight for 9th place. We'll soon be seeing a fight for 3rd place. With the race soon going to come to a close, we still have what, 6.5 laps left of racing. Skexy is using that DRS to close the gap between himself and Martins. Won't be able to get it done now, but he's got ample time to do so. Looks down the inside now. Put him around the outside. Puts him back down the inside. Still side by side with some nice stuff, but eventually Martins had to concede the position to Gexy. With some nice racing from those, Martins loses front wing. And Martins, he's got a free pit stop on Andre. So it might be the smart call to enter the pits. Will he, though? Yes, he will. He's got a free pit stop on Andre, so might as well. It's a shame for him, though. He could have battled it out for that 9th spot. Drew back up to 8. He had started off well. I think he had started off in 2nd, finds himself in 8th place. Unfortunate from him. And DXSinio is within that 1 second gap of Merv Martin. Those medium tires really helping out. They're a lot faster than the hards here in Singapore. And if DXSinio already wasn't going on fast enough, wasn't already catching up a lot to Merv Martin, he's got DRS assistance now. Now using DRS on this long straight, but he was too far back to do so. He's got no ERS almost, so that could be partially of the reason why Merv Martin, seeming like he was been saving up this ERS. Smart call from him. to keep that third position. But he's gonna need to fight off the Exasinio, who's on a faster set of tyres, for 6 more laps if he wants to keep that podium position. A fast driver in the Exasinio, it's gonna be hard for Merv Martin to do so, but be interesting to see. The Exasinio seeming like he doesn't have the best of grip outside of the corners that are of the DRS assistance. As the battle for this final podium slot will soon come to an end. We don't have many laps left to go. The Exasinio will probably start to get impatient, start feeling frustrated. He's been behind Merv Martin for a good lap or two now. As Faxland has come into the pits, he's come out of the pits. I hadn't clocked that he had gone into the pits, but he had to. Those hards probably weren't going to last until the end of the race, and seeming like they didn't. So now he was able to go on softs, and with only 7 seconds away though, we might see a battle for first place. And the Exasinio now has DRS, but again is too far back to go past Merv Martin, he's got no ERS, and Merv Martin is losing around 20 to 30% of ERS per lap. So we could see this battle come to a close in around 2-3 laps time, when both of them are on the same level of ERS, except the Exasinio will have DRS assistance. And Faxland closing that gap to Bumpier. He's on softs, Bumpier's on hards. He's closing that gap very quickly. I just don't know if it's quick enough to close the gap I don't know if it's fast enough to catch up to him and pass him in like 3.5 laps. He's gonna be getting the fastest lap of the race. He's gaining a lot though. Gexy managed to get past the Rue. I didn't even know these two were close to each other. My bad on that. The Exasinio almost looked a gander on the outside of Merv Martin. He's really close behind the tail. He just can't get the job done when it comes to the DRS zones. He's just falling behind. And Merv Martin, I think, is going to get DRS from this back marker now. So the Exasinio already won't even be able to use this that DRS exactly to his advantage. And he's really close behind him. He's probably going to be looking down the inside. Sorry, he was looking down the outside, but again, too far back, and now he's really close. And now he's going to put on that DRS. He's going to use that slipstream. He's only got 2% DRS though, and once again, can't get past Merv Martin. Merv Martin fighting on for all of his life. He's still got 50% DRS. There's still 3 solid laps at least left of racing. Can he hold off the Exasinio for set laps to get that podium position? And Faxland has really closed the gap to Bumpier. He's closed the gap an insane amount. Could very well catch up to Bumpier by the end of lap 28. Then it's just the task of getting past him, which with DRS assistance will probably be a bit of a breeze. But he doesn't have a lot of ERS, but neither does Bumpier. Stan 1212 is also really close to Edu. We're seeing now the race really start to close up. The final few laps, this race has started to come alive, and the Exasinio is still so close. Faxland sets the fastest lap, 1:36.5, within a second of Bumpier. Bumpier doesn't have a lot to fight off Faxland with, but Faxland doesn't have much ERS to fight against him with either, except he's on softs, which is so much faster than the hards. The Exasinio looking round the outside, not really a place to go around the outside. Turn 1, turn 2 is. Hill looking to use DRS, Faxland looking to DRS, but couldn't get the job done, even though he had DRS assistance. But he's on such a faster set of compound tires, he could very well get it done during one of these corners. Surprised Exasinio never had the opportunity to do so either, because he is also on a faster set of tires than Merv Martin. In the meantime, Tan 1212 is getting past Dude, because Tan 1212 is... Never mind, they're on the same compound tires. I think they're fresher tires though. They are indeed fresher tires. And Faxland having a peeksy, having a look. Slightly too far out to do so to get past them though. And the Excesinio as well. Both drivers a bit too far behind to get past the drivers in front. It's lap 28. Faxland's right behind Bumpier's tail. He's really close now. If he gets the exit of turn 23 correct, use the RS, he'll be looking to go down the inside. He's looking to go down the inside, but he's too far out. Can't get it done yet. The Excesinio seems to be too far behind Murph Martin to get past on turn 1 either. So Dude is still managing to keep within Tan 1212. He's been slowly going down the pecking order, Dude, due to being on such old set of tires. And Faxland now looks down the inside. I think he's going to get it done now, and yes, he does. Looks up a bit, but it's fine. Gets past Bumpier clean. He is on that fresher set of tires, and as long as Faxland can keep it in one piece, as we saw him almost spin out, would have ended his race. As long as he can keep it in one piece, Faxland looks like he's going to go win this race. And the Excesinio probably so frustrated behind Murph Martin. He's only got 2 laps left, 1.5 laps. Sorry, yeah, 2 laps left to get past Murph Martin. Murph Martin managing that ERS beautifully, still on 50% ERS, while the Excesinio still on a measly around that 13% ERS. And the Excesinio, whose tires now will slowly start to degrade. I mean, obviously they're going to be degrading, but he's on 12 laps of mediums now, and Murph Martin on 15 laps of hards. Murph Martin's tires might almost start to become better. So the Excesinio really needs to get a move on it if he wants to get the job done. As Faxland's already put 2.5 seconds between himself and Bumpier. As long as he can keep it in one piece, he'll get past. He'll win the race. And I'd be really frustrated if I was the Excesinio, because not only can he easily bag 3rd place if everything just aligns for him, but Murph Martin's really held him up, so he's not going to be able to catch on to 2nd either. And it seems like that the Excesinio's biggest problem is he's just not having the grip out of the corners where there's DRS assistance, and he's just seemingly not being able to be close enough through other corners, even though he's faster. As you see, he almost lost the rear end there on the start of the 2nd DRS zone, and is too far back to get past Murph Martin. And it seems like Murph Martin is going to be able to hang on. He's hung on this far, and the longer the race goes, the more it's going to benefit him to hang on to 3rd place. And with Faxland soon going to start the final lap of the race, this does not give the Excesinio much time to get past. He's just been so close for so long. Having peaks, having look-sees. He just can't get the job done. Faxland has started the final lap of the race. The Excesinio and Murph Martin are about to also start the final laps of the race. And the Excesinio now only has 2 more DRS zones to get past Murph Martin. He's only got 1 truly beneficial DRS zone, and that's the one coming up after this next corner. So if he doesn't get past Murph Martin now, it's really a now or never situation for the Excesinio. He's managed to up to 20% ERS. He's gonna have to go all the way for that DRS. Murph Martin though has a lot more ERS available, and he's managed to keep the Excesinio at bay. The Excesinio though is still really close behind him, so he's been Can he go down the inside? Now he's too far back to go down the inside on Murph Martin. Murph Martin holding gun for dear life. The tyres pulling around about equal pace right about now. Maybe I'll give the advantage slightly to Murph Martin on pure tyre pace. But Singapore's lot of track really created for overtaking. And the Exasinio, less than half a lap, sorry, a bit more than half a lap to go, goes past the hairpin now, and this is the final DRS zone to get past. Murph Martin, he's too far back to get it done. Faxlin in the meantime, not really much competition if as long as he can keep it in one piece. He's rounding now, turn 23. The Exasinio can't get past, seemingly like he can't get past Murph Martin. Faxlin wins the Singapore Grand Prix. It's a good race for him. He did an awesome comeback. I think he gained like what, 10 positions to win this race. He gained 10 positions to win this race. Excellent stuff from him. Bumpier coming in second. Great stuff from him. The Exasinio keeps looking left and right but can't get past Murph Martin, and Murph Martin will scoop the third and final podium position. He gets third place, but time penalties, unfortunately for Murph Martin, put him in fourth. That means the Exasinio nabs onto that third place, that final podium position. That puts Stan 12 in fifth, and they do now is about to cross the line. That puts him in sixth place, and Sebi Debi will shortly be crossing the line. That is going to put him in seventh. Gexy seems like he's going to be finishing in eighth. Daru in ninth. Andre in 10th. Martin's in 11th, and DPS Cole is he's all the way down 12th as an AI. That was some nice final laps. The Exasinio couldn't get past Murph Martin on track, but he managed to get past him due to time penalties. As we see Faxlin winning the second race in a row. Cracking stuff from the lad. Poli's going to put him up in first place on the constructors standings. It's some really good stuff. Bumpier coming in second, also good stuff from him. He's had an unfortunate season so far for the most part. Faxlin too as well. He was struggling a bit in the beginning races. Was involved in some unfortunate incidents. And the Exasinio, first time driving in TRL, gets third place. So also great stuff by him. Driver of the day, for me, I'd give it to Faxlin. Great drive by the Exasinio as well. From 10 to 12, some solid stuff as well. But all in all, I'd say Faxlin did the best job out there today. Getting the fastest lap by 2.5 seconds. He wasn't soft at the end of the race though, so it does make sense. But nonetheless, a superb job from all the drivers. I thank them all for joining. I thank you all for watching. Godspeed, ladies and gents. And we'll see you all next week.